First of all, I was going to thank you for allowing me to speak this morning, and I realized you didn't have any choice. So I guess it really doesn't matter whether I do that or not, but thank you anyway. 2011. Start of a new year, start of a new life for all of us, a new beginning, a new hope. But yet, if you look at the news, you watch TV, you see all the things that are going on. There's hatred, and there's bombings, and murder, and killing, and war, and disease, and people that are sick, people that have illnesses that are incurable. There's many things in our world that make us sad, that make us think that, what is our hope? What are the things that we have to look forward to? There are so many sorrows in the world. It's hard to start a new year and be completely happy about things. The first thing I think of is, what is there to hope for? Well, a long time ago, when I was young, I was sent to a camp. There's a couple of friends of mine here today that have heard this story many times. But I was sent to this camp. It was a church camp for kids. I had just graduated from high school. I didn't want to be there. Did not want to go to a church camp because I was 17 and I knew everything. And, what was I going to do? Go and pray for the whole week? But I went anyway because I was kind of forced to. So I was not going to put up with all this. The people that ran the camp, their name was Janny and Booney. I thought, what kind of camp is this where people's names are Janny and Booney? Down here in the hills of nowhere and don't know anybody and, out in the woods. So anyway, I went with a big chip on my shoulder. And they told me the first thing they said was, you have to wear this name tag with a name on it. I said, I'm not wearing a name tag. Are you kidding me? They said, if you don't wear a name tag, you're not eating. I wore the name tag. So, after about 2 or 3 hours, I realized that this place was not quite so bad. And I had a great time. One of the best times I ever had in my life. This year will be 46 years I've been going to that camp now. But one of the things that happened was at the end of the week, we took communion. And after communion, you went out and you wrote yourself a letter that you get back at Christmas time. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll write this letter. And I wrote a few notes down. And I'm sitting out on this volleyball court, on this hill, looking out over this valley. And it was a full moon. And the valley was just amazing. It was lit up almost like it was daytime. And I've been thinking all week about God and religion and all these things, and I thought to myself, well, okay, God came to Moses and he came to all these people in the Bible. Why does he never come to us? Why is it that we never get that experience? Why is it that we go through our life and you read the Bible, or you go to church, you hear things all day long, but it never happens to us? And I'm sitting there and I'm by myself on this volleyball court, and someone came up behind me and grabbed my shoulder. Well, I turned around, and there was no one there. I thought, okay, what's the joke? Making fun of the new guy, right? So I'm looking back out over the valley some more, and I went back to what I was thinking about. Why does God not come to us? And the hand was there again. And I felt a tightening on my shoulder. And I looked, and there was nothing there. No one was within 30 yards of me. And I got kind of a chill. And I looked back out over the valley, and I realized that God was telling me he is there. He's everywhere. He's in that valley. He was in the hearts of the people I was with. He's in this building today. He's in your hearts. He's in mine. And that no matter what I did or said, He was always going to be there. And that was the basis for how I believe and what I believe. Now, a lot's happened since then. I will never stand up here and pretend to say that, gee, I've been really great since then, never made any mistakes. I made a couple, 5 or 6. I'm talking a million. I'm not talking 1 or 2. I've made a few mistakes. And I went through a long period of time when I wasn't quite sure just what God meant to me. When I was a kid, I thought, if I lived to get to the year 2000, I would be 52, I would have had a good long life. Cool. That was my goal, to make it to 2000. I'm shooting for 2050 now. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but you got to have goals, right? And but I thought, we'd have flying cars and all the things that we were going to have, and there wouldn't be any war, and there wouldn't be any disease or sickness, and we'd find cures for all these things. We're working on it. Haven't got there yet. But one of the things that happened along the way was, the more I read and the more I tried to learn about the Bible, about religion, I got frustrated with what religion is, what it does. Sometimes the business of religion, the politics of religion. And I got very disillusioned. And I went to a friend of mine. His name is Alan McClellan. Alan found out the day before Christmas this year that he has anywhere from a few weeks to a few months to live. But a few years ago, I went to him and he was trying to become a minister. And he's since gotten his own church in South Carolina and has been down there a couple of years and got this news in the last couple of weeks. That doesn't sound very happy. But Alan is the last man in the world that would cry about his fortunes. Because I went to him when I was down and he said, no matter what happens, if I go today, and this was a few years ago, he says, I know where I'm going. I know what I believe. I know that God will be there for me. And he believed that every day of his life and will believe it till his last day. That gives me some inspiration, and I hope it does you. This week I decided that I needed to kind of get away a little bit, so I took off in the car Tuesday. I drove to Gettysburg and spent about 3 days at Gettysburg. And I walked the battlefields by myself. I walked on the ground where Pickett made his charge, walked halfway out across the over a mile field, and I thought about these people that were in that march, and thought about their idea of what they hoped for. Most of them didn't think that they would survive, and many of them didn't. Most of the people on the Union side didn't think they would survive that charge, and many of them didn't. But they fought for a reason. They fought for what they believed in. They had hope. They had hope. You walk the cemetery at Gettysburg. It's lined with stone after stone after stone of those who had hope. Again, none of this is very encouraging, is it? On the way back, I took a kind of a back road on Route 30 through Pennsylvania. And the route took me 3 miles north of where Flight 93 went down. And I went to what they call a temporary memorial. They're building a permanent memorial there. And the ground has been plowed over. It left a hole that was 15 feet deep, 30 feet wide when the plane hit. It went in upside down. But the people on that plane, the people that were fighting to take control of the plane, they knew they were going to go down. They knew the plane was going to crash. But they had hope. They had hope that what they were doing was going to save someone else. And they chose to do it when they thought they were over a rural area. They knew what the outcome was going to be, that had hope for something better, something bigger than just them, and saved a lot of people in doing so. It was a very touching spot to be. When I look at hope, I think about things that are coming in the future. I started a theater here with the idea that I was hoping to give kids and adults a chance to have a place to perform and learn about performing. That's why I started the theater, with hope that when I'm gone, that there'll be something after me that will carry on and give kids the same opportunities that I had as a performer. One of the things I look at, and I think about what we're trying to do, was the first letter of Peter, 1 through 21. It says, "Through him you have confidence in God, who raised him from the dead and gave him glory, so that your faith and hope are in God." Over the last 62 years, I've learned a lot of things. I've made a lot of those mistakes. I see people in pain. I see people like me that at my age, I think I've got more years behind me than I have ahead. There are some of you out there that have more years behind you than are ahead. And you think, what is there to be hopeful for? I'm hopeful for the opportunity that by believing, by having faith in God and his resurrection, that there are bigger and better things, far more than I can comprehend, awaiting me and awaiting you, each and every one of you. It's not a job, it's not a chore, it's not a hard goal to achieve. I have 2 young granddaughters, and I look in their eyes and I see hope. I see hope for their future. I believe that God will take care of them. I believe that God will take care of me. And it's just as important, I believe God will take care of you. Each and every one of you. You might have pain. You might have worries. You might have bills and health issues and all the things that you think are so important to you. But as long as you have hope, as long as you have belief in God, belief in the resurrection after death, you've got all you need. So, for the new year, you start today with hope. And take it one day at a time. Be thankful each day when you wake up that you have hope. That you have something to live for, something to be thankful for, something to look forward to, whether it's in this life or the next. You always will have that hope. Amen.
Amen.